Hey there, focus learners, and welcome back to another deep dive on The Explainer. Okay, today we are unpacking an absolute phenomenon, the 2026 legacy of Virat Kohli. Honestly, whether you're a die-hard cricket fanatic or just someone fascinated by the business of sports, the sheer scale of his current empire is going to blow your mind. We are looking at a guy whose influence has completely outgrown the pitch and morphed into this unparalleled global ecosystem. Right off the bat, let's just look at a staggeringly huge number, 2,106.7 crore Indian rupees. According to the April 2026 Kroll Celebrity Brand Valuation Report, that is Virat Kohli's current brand valuation. Just let that sink in for a second. This isn't just about bat and ball anymore, right? This proves his scale totally transcends sports. He is operating in a financial stratosphere that most global superstars can only dream of. Actually, there's a quote from ICC Media Director James Carter that perfectly captures what we're talking about today. He said, Virat Kohli is not just a cricketer, he's a digital ecosystem driving fan behavior worldwide. And wow, does that hit the nail on the head? It perfectly sets up our exploration today. We're going to map out his digital wealth, break down the science behind his on-field mastery, and then we'll take a completely neutral, analytical look at the heavily debated twilight phase of his career. So let's jump right into part one. The ultimate brand value. When you look at that April 2026 Kroll report, the gap between number one and everyone else it's literally staggering. Kohli is sitting at that seismic 2,106.7 crore mark. To put that into perspective, his endorsement portfolio comfortably surpassed Bollywood megastar Ranveer Singh at 1,877 crore. And get this, he even dwarfs the king of Bollywood himself, Shah Rukh Khan, who sits at 1,115 crore. A cricketer dethroning the absolute titans of Indian cinema? That is a monumental shift in how we understand celebrity power. So you might be wondering, where exactly does all this power come from? Well, it's his digital army. We're talking about a mind-blowing 270 million followers on Instagram alone. Just since 2023, he's added an astonishing 45 million followers. Data analysts actually estimate he gains around 45,000 new followers every single day during active seasons. That places him directly behind global football icons like Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. He is quite literally the only cricketer operating in this kind of digital atmosphere. And these aren't just vanity metrics. They translate directly into pure, unadulterated commercial power. Kohli charges an estimated $1.5 to $2 million for a single sponsored Instagram post. That means he has an annual social media earning potential of up to $45 million, all backed by a high-end portfolio featuring brands like Puma, Audi, and MRF. But honestly, perhaps the most incredible testament to his reach, when the LA 2028 Olympic organizers announced cricket's entry into the Games, they specifically cited Kohli's massive social media following as a key driving factor. One man's personal brand is literally helping pull a sport onto the Olympic stage. All right, moving on to part two, the fitness revolution. To really understand his impact, you have to look at the before and after. It's totally a tale of two different eras. Traditional Indian cricket was kind of stereotyped by relaxed fitness standards, the old biryani diets, and a heavy reliance on spin bowling. Contrast that with the era Kohli ushered in. He demanded what we called the quinoa era. He brought in mandatory fitness testing, Olympic-level agility, and championed a fierce, world-class fast bowling attack. He didn't just change his own habits, he demanded the entire team match his physical intensity. His former strength and conditioning coach, Shankar Basu, summed this up perfectly. He said, he is the first cricketer who decided to train like an Olympic athlete. Starting around 2015, Basu and Kohli implemented this highly disciplined, scientifically driven routine. And it wasn't just about looking good. This extreme physical conditioning was the secret weapon that allowed India to consistently dominate the historically tough SENA countries, South Africa, England, New Zealand, and Australia, matching them physically blow for blow. Which brings us to part three, mastering the run chase. Now, let's look at an analytical breakdown of what happens when the pressure is absolutely on. According to data from the Sports Boom Market Index, which evaluates T20 cricket's greatest chasers by blending raw stats with industry perception, the results are crystal clear. Sure, explosive finishers like Joss Butler might edge out a perfect 1.0 on the raw metric score thanks to incredible strike rates, but Kohli's overall market index of 8.200 sits completely alone at number one. It shows that his perfect blend of high runs, gap-picking skills, and expert perception easily bests even the most explosive players in the world when the game is on the line. And what's the secret behind that massive index score? It's a number, 78.61. That is his staggering T20 run chase batting average. Coupled with his 1,651 total chase runs, the data unequivocally proves he is the absolute king of the run chase. He's built his entire career out of walking into shredded nerves and just methodically dismantling the opposition's total. Let's shift gears to part 4, redefining Test cricket. If we look back at his golden age of leadership between 2014 and 2022, Kohli captained India in 68 tests and secured 40 wins. That is a wildly dominant 59% win rate. Under his aggressive, fiercely competitive captaincy, India didn't lose a single home series and secured their historic first-ever Test series win in Australia during the 2018-19 tour. He brought a combative edge to Test cricket that forced the entire world to pay attention. It's actually fascinating to see how perfectly his on-field milestones map right onto his commercial rise over the years. He takes over the Test captaincy in 2014, sparks the fitness revolution in 2015, and hits an unbelievable Test peak in 2016 by scoring 6 double hundreds in just 18 months. Then, he retires from the format with 9,230 runs in May 2025, and a year later, hits that astronomical 2,106 crore brand value. The runs literally built the riches. But, even the most incredible stories eventually hit a challenging final chapter. A recent headline in the Hindustan Times posed a very blunt question. Why do Indian cricketers linger on despite not being wanted? This represents a pretty dramatic shift in the media landscape surrounding Kohli. And that leads us into our final section, Part 5, the Twilight Years debate. Taking a totally impartial look at the current media landscape, what exactly are the critics pointing out? Well, first off, his Test form did dip. He averaged just 32 in his final 5 years in the format. There's also some media scrutiny looking back over past abrasive on-field moments, like those sandpaper gestures towards the Australian crowd. But more recently, the internet has actually accused him of rage-baiting his fanbase about a potential Test comeback. Why? Because he gifted red ball-themed shoes to his childhood coach, Rajkumar Sharma, and shortly after wore a classic Test sweater on a podcast with Ravi Shastri. To the media and his fans, these moves seemed totally designed to trigger comeback speculation. And that podcast appearance in May 2026 really added fuel to the fire regarding his white ball future. As noted by the press, Kohli stated he is looking forward to playing the 2027 ODI World Cup in South Africa and Zimbabwe. However, he laid down a very strict condition. He made it clear he only wants to play if the current team management, led by Gautam Gambhir, gives him absolute, unquestioned backing without constantly questioning his value. So that leaves us exactly here. The fitness transformation, the insane brand value, the legendary run chases, and now these Twilight debates. It brings up a crucial final thought to wrap up our explainer today. As the 2027 World Cup inches closer, is King Kohli's true final legacy going to be written in the sheer volume of his runs, the unmatched power of his brand, or the ultimate timing of his exit? It's a fascinating question, and for sure one we will all be watching closely as his final chapters unfold. Thanks so much for joining me, Focus Learners, and I will catch you on the next. Hey there!